forever.
Let me go to the comments because I always.
Okay, there it
All
is.
right,
There.
we're live. Let me go ahead and
Like
share.
and
Yeah,
um,
me too.
take this off a while.
Um, what's up?
And let's go over to the silver cocoon.
Was this episode 4 or
Hmm?
5?
5.
Is it episode 5? Okay.
Girl, yeah, we five deep. Honey.
5, 5, 5, 5, 8, 8.
Um,
Okay, so what am I doing? I'm going to.
why? I'm not seeing it, y'all.
Did you went
Is
to the
the
silver?
title? Do you want to the server?
Never mind. Wait. Yeah, right. Live. So how do I share it? Here we go.
Okay. Alrighty. Just taking a few minutes to get gathered here as usual. We are going live from the Cocoon page this time and forevermore. We finally made 60 days old. I didn't know because I'd be away from social media often that they have a new process now that if you have a new Facebook page, not profile, but page, you cannot go live until it is 60 days old. So I had set it up probably just like a couple weeks, maybe even a few days before we started going live and found out that nope, we won't be doing it there. But we are 60 days. Well, how many weeks has this been?
I don't know.
5 times 2, 10, 12.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I
300.
guess. Well, no. So it would be dang.
It would be 5 times 2, but then an extra one because we skipped. So 6 times 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we in here, we're in the Cocoon page. We're at home. We are finally at home. And we're waiting on Maya to pop back in here with us so we can. She's going to introduce our topic.
Yes. All right, guys. So today's topic, are we ready to get into it?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so today's topic is going to be dating. High value, high vibrational, both, or neither.
Maya, what? Yeah. High value, high vibrational, both or neither.
Uh-uh.
Yes. So, what do you want to say a little bit more about?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like this is a topic that we've been seeing on social media for ever, and it's coming back around, like what makes someone high vibrational. And it's a podcast hot topic as well, but we do things differently at the Silver Cocoon. So like our approach to it is going to be the I feel like what's needed in this conversation. Just a balanced approach, a healthy approach. And then also just like we have 3 different types of women here, so I'm sure
Very
especially different like dating style, like just very different in
different
that approach.
generations too.
Different
Like,
generations, different values, different personalities, and I
yeah.
think that really plays so we're going to get into it, and we're not just talking about men that are high vibrational or high value. We're talking about women as well, looking in the
Partners.
mirror,
Partners in
partners in
general.
general, just dating, and how that can influence your dating choices and dating world and what you're out there getting.
Hmm. I'm gonna be quiet right now.
I was just about to
Go ahead, Maya. So, um, we're going to talk first about what is high value. What is high value, generally speaking, not necessarily our definition for it, but what is the word on the street? What is
well,
high
let
value
me
word on the street, Maya?
Yeah, you're gonna have to answer that.
so
So
the
the
word
word
on the
the word on the street for me, I haven't been listening to the streets for a while. So high value was back
Why
Kevin
I gotta be
Samuels.
the street spokesperson?
Where I left off with this whole conversation was a few years back. So I'm curious to hear what if it has evolved any, or is it still what the what they were talking about some years ago in terms of high value. So what's the word?
I didn't really start hearing about this whole high value thing until Kevin Samuels. And then that's like I still like am very much a scroll on type of person because it seems very materialistic from what I'm seeing. But when you think about value, it is about the worth of a material, whatever. So high vibration, I mean high value on the streets is like generationally it's like this is what a guy literally said verbatim in a podcast, and everyone's like, yeah, true. He was like, I'm 6'4", I make six figures, I have my own house, I have my own car, and I don't have any kids. Supposedly, that if a man and if they got a beard, like, and you can see this on dating shows, like if they show up like that, they automatically think that they're the prize, and that like it's literally like okay, they walk around as if that's it. And so that's it. I'm not going to get into my commentary on that just yet, but that is the like general
That's
consistence
the
for
general consensus
high value.
for
conversation.
what for what men think is high value.
Exactly. Men are the main drivers in this conversation. They're the
Mm,
main drivers.
Good
But then you
point.
have your women that are on social media, and I feel like you can be heavily influenced by what you see. So they're also seeing this rhetoric and maybe taking that into their lives as
right,
well.
right.
But that's not the majority of our definition of
So
high
is
value.
that what you're seeing too, Kaya, in terms of the defining what this high value piece is?
I
And
think, yeah, I think men are seeing value is in more of like a financial, like, um, financial and like status type of
uh,
thing. Because, like Maya said, he
mhm.
has six figures, he has a nice car, he has da 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 da. Like, so they're seeing it as, oh, I have my, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they're literally taking the word value.
Really,
This,
because they're quantifying it. There's a number to that.
yeah.
I see. Okay. Okay. So I then nothing much has changed. When
But maybe, I mean, I guess it just depends on the person too. That may be high value to some people
you
if that's
actually
Exactly.
what you're looking for. If
you
that's
But
mentioned
the
it.
thing is, we got to think about what value actually means. Like, for example, like this water bottle, when you go to the store, regardless of if I think it's worth more or less, it's actually X amount of money. Like the general, like, like supply and demand is what gives us value.
Mm,
So
right.
if that's literally what value is. So if there's a whole bunch of women that want men that are like this, and there's not a
want
lot
so
of
that's
them,
what raised
that's
their
what makes
value.
them
So then
high
it's so
value.
then you're saying it's not necessarily men that are choosing, defining for themselves is based off the supply and demand. These are the type of men that most or people, because we're
Yeah,
starting
women,
to
it's kind of the same for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
these are the type
Yeah.
of people that most people are looking for in a partner, the characteristics or the things that most people want, which is what makes them supposedly high value.
Exactly. Supply and demand. That's kind of what it seems like is going on here. And you do have to think like a lot of people are, it just depends on your values in life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That may differ. That may differ.
Yeah.
So I did look because I was like, what is being said now? And I think there's a shift in defining high value.
Okay.
Um, and it seems as if this is leaning more towards what I would consider high vibrational. Um, or no, I'm gonna get into that a little bit
Where
more.
did you
Or
do the search?
Google.
Okay.
And the majority, well, all of the results that were coming up were listing qualities that I think are more high vibrational than high value. So things like respectful, keeps his word. Basically, this is just basic,
Bare minimum. I'm like, are
for
we just about
everybody.
to describe a decent human being?
For a decent
Like,
human being, it's that too, though. So
No.
has emotional maturity, makes intentions clear, kind, esteemed by their community. That's a unique one, though.
that's different.
Some people
Yeah.
aren't necessarily engaged in community like that,
Yeah.
but their name should carry. should have some type of positive reaction or response to the people that know them in their community. Generous, successful, loyal, leads with actions, has integrity, ambitious, has a positive mindset, um, done shadow work, has purpose, connection to spirit. So,
Sheesh.
right, you need to be. That takes a lot of focus on personal growth.
But
Uh-huh.
but let me tell you why that's probably still not making them high value, because there's not a lot of demand for that. A lot of women aren't demanding that.
That is
So
true.
that's why.
That no, they're not demanding it up front. And then when we get into the relationships, or people in general, men and women get in those relationships, then they want to look at these other characteristics and qualities. But
Mhm.
on paper, they want to see, does this person have, their bare minimum, which is the qualities that you described earlier. Then they get in the relationship and they're like, well, do you have any integrity? And it's kind of late at that point to
Right.
We're
try to
asking
figure
the wrong questions. One thing about me, baby, we gonna sit there and ask them with the really good questions.
questions. So what's interesting, I don't know if I told you guys about this. This is some years ago. Uncle had came to me and he asked me what kind of man did I think that he was. And I
Hmm.
was like, "Ooh, that's a pretty deep question." And I said, well, I don't know. We talked a lot about a lot of things, and he did ask me questions. We had conversations that were probably better suited from a man's perspective, but he did respect, you know, just this respect where I came from on a lot of things. So I did the best I could to, share and guide in some ways from a woman's perspective. So I said, well, I'm not going to tell you what kind of man you are. I'm going to tell you how I have a little classification. It's like 3 categories in which I place a man.
Have you told us these categories before?
I don't
I'm
think
about
so.
to say this
I
is
don't
this
think
is new to
This
me.
is some new tea, guys. Where's
so.
our cups? Clink, clink, clink.
So the first category is what I call grown boys. And this was told to me by
Damn.
no, this is what he
Why?
asked a question. I was like,
Not
I'm
grown boys.
categories, and you can assess for yourself where you find yourself at. So again, for our listeners, our viewers, this is
Grown
grown
boys.
people, grown whatever, grown boys, grown girls, whatever. I was talking to my brother, so this was, the language that I used. And I got the term grown boy from a guy, actually. I was working at technical college of the Low Country, and a coworker was like, "Hey, come in here real quick. I'm having this really interesting conversation with this guy. I want you to hear what he said." So I guess they were talking, and she was like, "I'm having problems with these men. What's up with these men? Yada yada." And so he was like, "Well, there's a difference between a man and a grown boy." And so he was breaking down the characteristics of the two. And I was like, I don't have any arguments with that. So I want to say that this actually came from a man that termed grown boys. So that's typically like the age of an adult, but with the behavior and character of a young boy or child, right? Why why are y'all laughing?
I'm afraid I gotta plead the fifth. I'm afraid for
Some call
another.
them man child. So that like
You going in.
I'm
Oh
just saying,
shit.
this is the list of characteristics for that category. Not
Okay.
responsible, not handling business, leans on others, mainly, other women for stability, financial or otherwise. Probably has difficulty maintaining an income, doesn't really take care of herself, but when there is money, spends it on like clothes and shoes and going out, like that's the focus of building some type of image. But the priorities don't really go beyond the physical and hanging out with friends and getting girls and so on and so forth, and might not have taking care of their own. So that was grown boy. Then the second category was just a man, like just men in general. And here we have a responsible guy, has a decent income, is stable, he has his own, he's resourceful, and knows how to get things done. I actually place high value men can be placed in this category for me. But men don't necessarily, in what I call like a real man, doesn't necessarily have to be a high earner. He just
Right.
would need to be able to manage his own affairs, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
right. But in terms of like where I would place, there's the grown boy. This is the second category, which is just men being a real man. Um, that's where I would place high value too. Because nowhere in that is it said anything, is there anything about integrity? Is there anything about,
Yeah,
emotional security? Is there anything
yeah.
about connection to spirit or having some spiritual foundation? None of that is there. But this is a person who holds their own,
Hmm.
who is responsible, has a handle on their own life.
So
And
real
there's,
quick,
yeah,
I can see that and grown boy can also exist in the same person as well, though.
real man and grown boy.
Yeah, you can have your own and take care of your own finances and self and still be immature and still be like, not every grown boy is leeching off of somebody. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, not every grown boy is like depending on somebody and leaning on somebody. Like, there are men.
I hear what you're saying, but then that doesn't put him in a grown boy category for me, because we're literally
So
about a person who's a certain age who acts like a boy. So they would still be in some
Would
way,
still be depending on
in
somebody
some
else.
way. Well, I guess maybe expanding the grown boy thing, because if you are, no, I don't think that's fair. Because if somebody wants to, they're content with, having a smaller sphere of, operating in life, that's fine. It's fine as long as they're content with that.
yeah, nothing's, yeah, I was saying, I think what I was saying is that there are some people in the man category that do have their small sphere, they take care of all their things, but they still have the characteristics of the grown boy. That's what
Which
I was
is
saying.
what characteristics?
Oh, like just like emotionally immature,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like just like still worried about the wrong things. Like if high value men that have millions still be worried about the wrong things, spending money on,
So,
and still chasing after
listen,
girls.
that man, that's still in the man category though.
Oh,
I didn't, integrity and all that wasn't in there. That's just someone who knows how to take care of themselves, like that.
oh, okay. Got it, got it, got it.
But
Okay.
they're emotional stuff that's not necessarily, you know.
Okay, so what's this third category then?
Then back then I just said so it was grown boy, man, real man. But now we have this other language. So I would say the grown boy or grown boy girl, man, woman, and then high vibrational person, right? And so
Mhm.
this is someone that comes with all those other characteristics, someone that is really grounded, conscientious, has integrity, meaning that they don't see any value in trying to get over on someone, or they're a lot of their energy is they place spend a lot of time and energy on the type of being a life generating person, let's put it that way, raising the vibration of the spaces that they're in, making sure that they show up, hey
Hey,
fam,
Tanisha.
making sure that they show up in a very solid, secure way. Their decision making really will illustrate if you're dealing with a high vibrational person. They're not going to be making decisions that will just like satisfying the moment, or fleeting desires. They're going to think about how this can have an impact on them in the future. You know,
So when you had this category, oh, go ahead, my bad.
no, go ahead.
So when you came out with these categories, like, did you still date people? Like, where were you dating at when you came out with these categories?
Well, actually, I wasn't dating anyone when I came out with those categories,
Mhm.
but I think I was definitely I was dating really, I touched on a few, all over the board. I had my experiences. Um, but I understand more, especially because of the work that is taking me to become a high vibrational person. That you just want to be patient, and not necessarily patient with the person in a relationship, because you don't know if that's necessarily their focus to be high vibrational, but you want to be patient in terms of picking a partner, you know. If you're looking for high vibrational, which is also going to be a person that manages their finances well. Yes.
Which sometimes, and I can like, there's a couple people this is making me think about it, because like I feel like high vibrational is the best choice, because even if they're not like that financially stable yet, it's like they have, like it's like it just needs patience. And that's like kind of where some people can maybe get confused. But I think if you focus on when you have someone that needs time, are they high vibrational or not? And that'll tell you if the time is going to make any difference,
If it's gonna make a
basically.
difference. If it's gonna make
Exactly.
a difference. Because you can trust the decision-making process, the choices of a person who's high vibrational more than, any of those other categories. And
Exactly.
so that's someone you can actually build with. That's someone you
Hmm.
can build with. The key though here is requiring a thing that, or looking for this vibrational match that you are not. Um, I remember a long time ago when I was studying with the Sarasat Society, and they would do readings that, people want to know where's my mate, and when do they come in? Who am I going to be with? Da, da, da. And the focus was in the reading, like, are you relationship ready? It was never about where is this partner, but are you
Mhm.
relationship ready? Has the work been done? Um, have you loved self enough? Have you gotten to a place where you can even entertain the energy of the partner that you are desiring? And so it always placed the responsibility on the person. So I just think a lot of this conversation about, oh, they need to look like this, they need to look like that, or they need to have this, they need to be this. Really, if you just, like attracts
What attracts what?
like attracts like. But
Like
often we're
Like,
the opposite too, but like attracts like. So
which
build.
is also, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, which is also where I think we can. Well, one thing real quick, back because on what you were just saying just now. I used to always tell Sierra, like, I'm not like looking for a relationship right now, because I'm not like, the people that are on my vibrational level is not the person I want to be my man. So like I'm still working on myself, like, because like the man that I want to be my man is probably not, like, I'm not ready for them. Like the person that I see,
That's
like
honest. That's
it,
honest.
but it was, and I said that for years. I was like, yeah, I know I have a lot more growing to do before like I actually am gonna like. So I had what I call placeholders, and
mm,
I told Journey
Did you
about
know they were placeholders?
huh?
Did they know they were placeholders?
No, but all my friends knew. So placeholder,
mm,
because
dang,
you got to think like
Ryan.
placeholders like a zero, like like placeholders in math, like place like literally just a zero to wait until.
This is what.
Dang, girl.
Anyway, so yeah, placeholders, because I just knew like this is not. Now I'm out of that place. Like I'm high vibrational enough to where like, you know, that's not a thing anymore. But absolutely, like you just have to be real with yourself. Is the
Tanisha's like,
type of person that I want, what would they do? What would I do with them right now? Except make a fool out of myself. That's how I thought.
so do you
Mhm.
feel like the placeholders were good teachers though?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I had them. I was like, I need to learn more about relationships and about myself. I'm not taking none of this is taking it to the altar.
Okay, so wait a minute.
Mm,
I don't know, Maya. You mean you went into all of these situations already knowing that, this isn't, I
Well,
don't
at first I went in with the placeholder, and of course then I started loving and caring and things like that. But in the back of my mind though, don't get it confused.
know, you know,
Yeah,
you
you cannot like
know.
Journey, Sierra, like they
Yep,
know, Journey knows about that placeholder, huh?
we're not
mm.
No,
questioning
I'm just saying, like,
we're
I didn't
not
know I was a lover girl, but I'm letting you know in the
yeah,
back of
'cause
that
you are a lover
burner,
girl.
which is
I
why it
think
was
I
so
would
hard to
agree
let go
with that.
anyway.
I feel like the relationships I was in previously, all those situations were definitely master teachers. I call them my
Yeah,
master
yeah.
teachers because I learned so much about the different parts of me, different parts of my personality, and what parts we're choosing which partners. And like
Yeah.
that's cool and it's fun and it holds some, some importance and significance in my life. But at the same time, this wasn't the full picture of me. This didn't necessarily, match up with the larger picture of who I am. But then also to your point, um, I got to a space where I realized, like, wait a minute, I, believe it or not, am still not. I felt like I'm still not in the fullness of who I am. So seriously grateful that I didn't stop ahead of today and find myself in a committed situation and then would have just or got married to any of those people and just would have got divorced because I was still, I was picking at the space where I was at, and that's not where.
But that raises like, okay, that raises it really quick because I have a question for Kaya after this. But that raises a really good point, and that's why the word vibrational is so important here, because you got to think about these partners. Like, this is someone that, let's say you start like, no matter who you're around and who you spend time with, that's gonna heavily influence your own energy and your own life. So like, let's say you did stop, or I did stop, like, who knows if the growth would have even been able to be possible, because you start to, like, if you're living with somebody, dating them, marrying them, being intimate with them, like, that's your stuff too, essentially. So like, whose
Yeah.
stuff do I want to be my stuff?
Yeah. I mean, that picking that partner is extremely important because you do start to become there's a whole vibration that's created there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
and it's gonna dictate, it largely dictates who you actually become from that point forward. So absolutely. Absolutely. What were you gonna ask, Kai?
Just thoughts.
I'm just
Because we know Kaya.
I feel like I'm learning. So I'm just really listening. I mean, I feel like I don't because I've never really not gonna say I've never really, but I don't really think that deep into certain things. So I feel like I'm learning from you guys right now. So I'm just taking in. I don't really have any.
That is not
I'm agreeing.
true.
Mom,
You
I don't
think
I don't
very.
think deep into every single thing though. No, I don't.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying. Like so yeah. I'm listening. I'm agreeing.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That on this particular topic,
Yeah. I just
you're taking
I don't
notes. Like, okay,
yeah.
okay.
Not as not gonna say knowledgeable because it's
Well,
not
have
really
you, so
something that
I'll
you have
just
to like
ask, like, based
study.
off of your experience, like, have you noticed what we were just talking about, like, vibrationally, like, are you able to look back on your relationships and look at the vibrations and the values and like
Oh,
see how that
well,
affected you?
oh yeah. That's
How?
what I said. Um, ha I mean, what do you want, an example? I don't
I just want to know, like, I mean, like, it's
Okay.
okay if like you
Let
don't
me let
have.
me throw this out
like,
here.
I don't
I
wanna
think
get into, like, past like, I don't understand what you really like.
It's okay.
let me put this out here. I think one thing that we have all learned is considering people who have healed or who are actively healing.
Healing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying that we've all learned that,
Okay.
right?
Wait, we've
What
all learned what?
Well
I don't
well
understand.
so we
considering a partner, if you're considering a partner, it needs to be someone who has healed or someone who is actively healing that understands if they have some.
oh, okay, okay. You're saying we've learned that that's what you should do.
That when you're considering a partner, you want to look for that.
Correct.
You want to
You
look for
don't
Mm-hmm.
wanna look for somebody that yeah, correct.
It
that, right?
also
Well, but
depends on what
then
they're healing
sometimes you don't know
from. But that's why you
until
ask questions ahead of time.
but some of the
You don't know
things
what
it's not
questions to
gonna
ask.
think to ask. That's what I'm saying. Like, what questions do
You
you
really
ask? 'Cause some things you're not gonna think, oh, I need to, because you may not know what they're healing from. So how do I know what
No, that's
specifically?
facts. And unfortunately, it's really experience. It is
I
experience
don't
and
know. All of my exes have trauma dumped with me in the first 2 weeks, so I just be knowing. like, so
well,
I
that's a
mean,
red
I
flag.
understand that, but I'm
But then
just
at the
saying,
same time,
like,
right? Like, I also don't want to just. I mean, yes, we should discuss a lot about each other, but I also don't expect you to tell me all of the trauma that you've been through. Like, I
Yeah.
don't, that's not, because what if we don't even, you know what I'm saying? I don't, that's not my business to know right at this moment. We're
And
just
see,
getting
and I think that's actually a red flag, because a lot of times, and we need to check this just all across the board, men and women, sometimes we want an audience for our trauma. We don't necessarily want to heal it. We just want an audience. And so we'll keep doing that. We'll dump and we'll dump and we'll dump. And somehow that is soothing for the person, but they don't really want to do the work to address that core issue. They just want to keep dumping.
So
So
can dumping can dumping also be like um not like actually stating, okay, boom, this happened. But could dumping also, like, could there be like an emotional dump? Like, you're not
Hmm.
telling me, okay, this is what happened, but
yeah,
I'm realizing, oh, okay, you're
acting
dumping
out,
this trauma.
out, yeah, in some
Yeah,
way.
acting out, or I feel like you're kind of you're taking things. I'm the person, you can't really deal with the trauma the way that you want to deal with it, so you're kind of,
Taking
I'm
it.
the placeholder for the trauma.
Yeah.
Kaya.
Come
I'm the
on,
placeholder for the trauma. You putting it
that's
on me because I'm with you. I'm the person that's in your space right now, so you dumping it on me because you don't got nowhere else to put it.
Girl,
well,
And that's
that's
what we're
a
not gonna
whole
do.
word.
And that's what we're not gonna do.
that, you get to a point where you can see when that person is it's not even personal.
It's not
Yeah,
personal.
it's not personal. It's not
It doesn't
personal.
affect me. I can hear the pain in their voice and say, this is not about me. This is
It's
something else
deeper. Mm-hmm.
for me, whatever the situations
But I
were.
feel like it's important to mention, just for people that are listening or watching, like, high vibrational doesn't mean not human. Like,
Right.
we all have traumas, we all have things that we experience and are currently working through. Um, but it's just about how you deal about it and how you work through it. Oh yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I definitely agree.
Because
Yeah.
Ocean says, I used to value a lot of upfront transparency. It was a lot like love bombing or trauma bonding.
Hmm.
Now I enjoy discretion in moments of truth that have been earned.
Earned. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hello. My
Absolutely.
last relationship, they will be asking me things. I'm like, I've known you for 2 months. Like, I don't like I genuinely don't want to tell you this yet. Like, can we wait?
That's what I'm saying.
But
Everything
that's
don't
so
need to
true.
be everything don't need to be known up front.
It
Like,
doesn't. And I yeah, because it is love bombing. It like
It
yeah,
is. It
that's
is.
a whole word right now. I like that you said moments of truth that have been earned.
Yeah.
earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what do we have anything to prove to anybody? Like, what are we doing here?
That's what I'm saying. Especially in the beginning.
Only
We're
trauma
just
dumping should be with your
Asking
therapist.
questions to
hello.
want to see like what's the intention behind
Good
asking
point.
the questions? Do you want that information in some way, or
Good
Right.
point. Oh my goodness.
you can manipulate in some way? Like, why do you want somebody to just
Tell you.
bare their
Right.
souls and their trauma before you when you are neither a therapist nor a spiritual counselor, or you're none of that? So what's the point? What are they getting off on by
Hmm.
asking you to be that transparent?
So
So
Maya, I'm curious on these questions, honey, because you
That's what I
firm
was just
on
about
this
to say to mom.
question.
Like, I am lucky a therapist, so that's why I do ask questions. Like, that's why I be asking these questions. But it just really like, it's not like it's an interview, because I will even say, like, there was a good friend, the good friend that me and you, not a good friend, but a friend of a friend in Myrtle Beach, that I had a conversation with a couple years ago, and we that's just a male friend, and we weren't like at all romantic or whatever, but I just was having a conversation, and the types of questions they were like, wow, no one's ever like gotten to know me on this level, and it was a 30-minute conversation. So I can't like give you exact questions. It really depends on like what they're saying and like what I
Okay.
pick up about their personality. I might be like, so why do you do that? Like, why do you think that is? Or like, you know.
That's your favorite thing to say. That's Maya's favorite thing to say. She says that
but
to me all the time.
about that, because are you going into the relationship, if you have your therapist hat on, are you going into the relationship as a fixer?
Right, and that's why I'm like, that's the
Relationship
absolutely no more.
right,
Absolutely
right,
no
Yeah.
right.
more. Because that's what
Mm-hmm.
that friendship conversation was giving. It was giving therapy. But like outside of a relationship, I was able to see like, okay, uh, like, but I'm also just, I don't know. Yeah. But
Yeah. When you cut
yeah.
that out at the beginning, like, no, I'm not the person for you to do this with. You need to seek some actual professional
Mhm.
Or
help.
just pay me.
Says, good evening, ladies. Great topic. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
So,
you.
but on topic, then, what do you guys think are signs that, so like what I guess would be high? Well, first of all, what would be high vibrational to you? Like, what's a sign when you're dating someone that's like, okay, they're high vibrational? Let's say through text. Let's start through text.
Through text.
I can't say like
Text and phone.
asking. I mean, I don't know. Like just through phone and text.
Because
This
this is
is the
a this is a dating online dating world. We gotta teach the, like, give tidbits to how
this is
to
where we
pick out
start.
before you meet these people in person. How do you
Um,
know?
I think through conversation, it's
yeah,
actually quite easy these days to
not a
see
whole lot of what you doing.
through.
Some
You
Not a
got
whole
boys
lot
be
of
bad
those.
at texting. Like,
No, not a whole lot of what you doing, and that's just that. Because if that's all you asking, then on to the next.
I feel like too many emojis is man child.
I use a lot of
As
emojis.
a man,
No,
no, as a
under a
man.
certain age, like your
Oh,
generation
okay.
is just it's okay because like you guys
But
just.
this is just a gender thing.
Our
Yeah, that's
generation.
just a gender thing. I feel like that's a gender
Mm,
thing specific.
I don't think it's a gender thing. I feel like if you're 27 years old and you're using like 6 emojis after a sentence, like that's a lot. Like that's a lot.
But I've noticed like
So you would think
older
that person's
people.
not vibrational because they
No,
use a
I
lot
think
of
that just is a little immature. So like, yeah.
it's immature. Okay.
No, but I feel like older people, I've just noticed that they just do that, and I don't see it as like a like people that I respect. That you know what I'm saying? Like they, I don't know why people text like that, but like like grandmothers, like
No, I said
people.
older people is fine
That's
because
what
that's
you say.
different.
Yeah.
I was
Generation.
saying
Oh,
like
okay.
our generation, like if a guy's like, "Hey, gorgeous, good morning," and there's like 7 emojis right after it.
Well, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Of our, that's a lot. Yeah, because I barely. Maybe that's just a lot for me though, because I don't really. I send emojis, but I don't even be sending them like that. So if you sending me,
Oh, meme language. Doshi said I love meme language.
I don't be
Yeah.
sending memes.
I don't send memes,
A
but
person's meme choice does say a lot about them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's the way you can tell a lot about a person if you give it a good couple of weeks and they're talking to you about what they're doing in their day, what their plans are for the weekend, what that you can sort some stuff out. Just
That's a
from
good point. By
that.
asking what, yeah, that's a good
What are
point.
they doing? How do they spend their day? How are they spending their money? They'll tell you that.
What
Well,
are they
oh,
talking about to you? Like
this,
what topics
we
do they want
got
to
this,
bring
this,
up?
this party's going on over here, and this blah 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 over there. Oh, okay.
Or they just woke up, it's 12 p.m. every day. Like,
What'd you
Right.
say? They
or they're
just woke
like,
up
good
at
morning
12
at 12 p.m.
p.m. Yeah.
That would be,
Hello.
I don't reply to around that time though. That's
But
me.
what about I mean, I know this is like a basic thing, but like what about just good morning texts every morning? Is that not
I feel like if you
big?
feel like it's an expectation and feel like you have to do it, like,
No, not to feel like you have to do it, but just to wake up and just I feel like to just start your day and just say good like just giving the thought. But granted, because I've just seen like screenshots and just like it'll be like a bunch of everybody gonna be saying good morning.
everybody gets it.
Everybody gonna say good morning because they just want your attention. But I don't
But
know.
think about your closest friends, the people that you're close to. Do y'all tell each other good morning every
No.
day? No. So,
And
like,
you're
Yeah,
right. And
the difference is though when you have a partner, that relationship is a lot closer, or someone who wants to share
right.
your
Y'all are talking a little more.
that makes sense.
be a
That
lot
makes sense.
closer. So
I think good
yeah,
morning is valid.
So I feel like coming from a partner, that's different. But if it's just whatever, but I feel like good morning text from a partner is held to a different level than just like good morning text from
this somebody. Yeah. I knew I can tell when the good morning text is one that's sent out to a few people.
ooh,
I can tell.
not the copy and paste.
How can you tell?
Yeah,
I
how
don't
can you
know. I think I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I can after a few of them I'll be like, huh, this is
Have y'all
definitely
ever copy texted a text? Copy pasted a text?
I have.
I have.
What?
I have, yeah.
You
Not a
have
But
good morning, but definitely like the same response. Like,
to the people saying good morning?
no,
no.
probably like actual conversation.
Or maybe I may like copy paste something if it's like I'm talking about the same thing with somebody and I'm just like I'm telling no. Like if I'm just talking about a specific situation and I'm describing that specific situation,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not gonna sit here and describe it two separate ways. Like
Tanisha,
before
What she
saying good morning is enough.
getting on social media before saying good morning to me is a no, and that's very, very valid.
That's what I'm saying. So that good morning text is important. The
That's
first thing that you do
valid. That yeah,
when you wake
checking
up in the
in.
morning, you get on your phone. Te- good morning. Don't get on social media. Text me good morning
Oh,
first.
that brings up a good one for me.
See,
Mm.
Someone who runs to social media a lot
when you guys are
Ooh,
going through stuff.
just
is not
period.
is for me is I'll just like, what is it that you need, that you're seeking, that you must have? And that's just me. I'm old school, I'm old fashioned too. And then I'm not on social media a lot. So my values, my, idea about that would be different from someone else who is. They may not see that as a thing. But I'm like, if this has your attention all day long, or you're posting with because you want the reaction, the validation, and the
Yep.
attention
I was just
from
about to
others
say
about
attention and
everything,
validation. Yep.
I'm like, we not gonna work.
Yeah.
Or if it's like every thought I'm feeling, because like, are you about to be sharing my business too? Like, if we're together, like, I'm
Yeah.
still private, but I think that has to do with your own private, your own values. Because like some,
Your
like
own, yes,
it's
people in
about
my-
your own values.
yeah.
I'm just more private, so that's why
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Same.
But
Yeah.
Okay, so Doshi says online is a great way to meet people, but there is a nuance to being able to create a real connection. It truly takes effort. I just don't even know.
guys, I went on a one. There was, yeah, that's a sassy man, Tanisha. We didn't even get into that category. We got the sassies.
Hold on.
Um,
Wait. What's the sassy man? What
The
the
specifically?
ones
getting
that
on
be on social media.
the social
Oh
media.
yeah. Yeah. But
Um,
like we're talking about, both. But so the females too, though. That's still just like it's still
Being
just a
yeah.
no for me.
hungry,
I
thirsty,
don't see that as sassy,
and
but I just still see it as like you're just giving to like what you I don't understand what you telling all the social media all it is for.
so I'm
Or do you
curious.
really feel that way? Then it kind of makes it seem like, do you really feel this way? Because the stuff
Kai, you feel so strongly about this.
Right, keep
no,
going.
no, no, but it's like I don't know. I feel like certain things, if you're just constantly just posting, you feel this way, you feel this, I just don't see how that's possible for you to just be. Because if you feel this way and you posting about it, what is that? How is that helping you? How is that helping you? If you're really going through it, if you're really, and I understand, but that's like an attention thing. That's why, like I said, if you're just constantly posting, I don't think you really feel that way all the time. You just want the attention. You want somebody to be like, "Oh, are you okay?" Da, 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 da. Like you're just not feeling enough love. I don't know, but you just sitting on there on the internet all day pouring out your feelings. I don't feel like me personally, I just don't feel like that could really truly be your feelings. Maybe one post, maybe a few, but every day, just thank
It's,
you every day. It can't be true.
use
It
it
just
as their journal, like it's the live journal or whatever.
no. I
But
just
that's
don't. And then
problematic. The
then if you're
victim,
but
not
that's
getting
vibrational because
responses,
there's some people that really
victim
enjoy that
mentality,
too. And they
huh?
have a time. I
uh-huh.
said, but that's very vibrational because there's the opposite gender that also does that and they enjoy that and it's a fun time and you see it all fall down on, social media. Like I be getting my popcorn for couples like that.
No, well, yeah, no, but that's
That's
still
good,
not. It's entertaining to watch, yes, but
but it's
I'm not,
definitely
and I'm
giving.
not talking about like a back and forth. I'm saying one person talking about they're going through, not posting about somebody that you're dealing with all the time.
Mm,
But I'm
yeah,
talking about if you're
yeah.
if you're posting about yourself and stuff that you're going through all the time. Just
But
I feel
yeah,
like, but
But
yeah.
that also, the impression that always gives me is like a heavy victim
Oh,
mentality.
yes, the ones always talking bad about women. I,
that's a
I
big red flag.
that's a big red flag and very low vibrational
But
because
let
what
me share this really quick because this makes me think about like high vibrational men and things like that. I remember asking mom one day, because after growing up and dating, I was like, excuse my language, but I was like, Why did my mom never tell me that niggas wasn't shit? So I said, Mom, I said, Mom, why did you never tell me that this was what was going on here? And you were like, it hasn't been my experience. And I was
Really?
like,
It hasn't. And I don't know if that's generational. I mean,
It has a
I've
lot to do with yeah. It got a
definitely
lot to do
had
with that
bad
too.
apples, but we talked about this. Like, I've had some exceptional, wonderful men, platonic and, relational in my life. So I can't say that and I'm not a pick me by any means necessary. Anybody who knows me knows that that's the truth. But I also just really, I love men. I love men and I love men. And so I think that may have something to do with my experiences as well. But I
that's
don't think
valid, yeah.
they're all
But
trash.
also, you're also like super highly vibrational though. So even if you did attract men that had different things, like they still were like, they still, had a certain level of something to them
Right. A
because you
certain
wouldn't
level
attract
of
something less.
something, even
Yeah.
if it went south, but they did.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
like,
had a certain level of something. I
I'm
don't know what
very,
it was.
yes,
But
yes. We're
definitely
talking
now I
about,
can say like after work like working on my vibration, like I haven't even met men that are like low vibrational. Like you know what I'm saying?
oh, thank you. Jamila Shanta's kind
Ooh.
of high level men. I think that may be true. That may be true.
How do you guys feel like your values shape what you view as high vibrational?
Oh, immensely, immensely.
In what
So
ways?
So here's a very obvious one. I think that for me, someone who's, very spiritually and energetically grounded is high vibrational for me.
Right.
Because that just, I mean, I live my life. That's literally my lifestyle, and place so much into the vibration of the reality of the everyday thing. And I don't want to have to be the person that's the only one that's in tune with that. Like if we're in conversation or something happens in someone's day and there's a standard in which I'm going to navigate that to maintain the vibration, to maintain the expectation. And there are certain things that I don't want to have to teach in my relationships. I want my partner to know that and to already be down with that type of way of going through their own day. So then it just flows, it just flows. But that's definitely one. Someone may not require that. Someone may not be tapped in like that. Someone that may not be a priority for them. And so vibrational would be different. But here's an example, like, um, you can have a bad day, right?
Mhm.
But if you are someone high vibrational, for me is someone who has a bad day, they can talk about the things that did not go well, right? And then they move into a solution focus. Either if this thing persists, this is what I'm going to do with this. I'm not going to keep complaining about it because that's just a misuse, abuse of energy. So I'm not going to keep complaining about this. I have two choices. One, either if I'm going to stay in this situation, then I adjust my own energy and I ignore the BS and I make sure I'm centered and move through it. Or two, I get out. Like I change the job. Whatever needs to happen, you do what you need to do. That to me is a component of being high vibrational. I don't want to hear the complaints all day long about the same damn thing. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Mine is the same way. Yeah, mine's
Yeah,
the
I'm
same
definitely
way.
the same way. I'm literally the same way. And I tell my friends that all the time, like, please don't keep complaining to me. I'm not the
About the
friend
same
for
thing.
that.
Mm-mm.
So
Because
is
and
there
I
like a
understand that. So there's one thing that you do have to learn though, like some people really like let's say there's a problem. Some people don't always want solutions. Sometimes they just want to ear. And I can do that. I'm learning to do that as well, just to listen without giving solutions. But after
so many times,
and
yeah.
now I ask, like, do you really like are you if I give you you're saying you want advice, if I give it to you, are you actually gonna use it? And if you show me once that you didn't, I'm never giving it again.
Dang. Yeah, I'm not
Once
as
it strikes,
yeah,
But when
not
you
as
they
have
don't
boundaries and actually enforce them, it cuts out a lot of BS. Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Yes, it does. Up front, up front, up front.
And
Have those
but boundaries take self-love. Boundaries and enforcing them take
don't bend.
self-love.
Don't bend, don't bend. Here's another real important one I can tell if someone is high vibrational. That the things they're talking about match their actions, right? So
Yup.
you can, oh yeah, I'm this and I'm
Heavy
that.
on that.
very conscientious
Yeah.
person. I'm a very honest person. I'm a very this, that, and the other. And then you start to see some things in their life that it's like, if you're this and this and this, then this and this and this wouldn't exist.
Red
So
Hello.
flag.
that's not true. If they're not
Hello.
congruent, that's where you set the boundary. That's a boundary for me. If it's not congruent, deuces.
If a man ever says, even in their dating bios, ladies, I value honesty, that's a liar. That's a liar. If they're like, I honesty is so important to me, just keep it real with me, that's a liar. Like that
You
is
know what's funny? Remember I had that dating app I went on, right? So I've
yeah.
only did it once, and it was just because I wanted to do something. I was challenging myself to do things I would never do, right? And then I was like, hey, I'm also like, I'm just not going anywhere to meet people. And it's time for me to meet people again. So I was like, okay, let me do two things at one time. Let me get on a dating app. Oh my gosh. Let me do a whole profile. My girls like my profile too. Y'all like my profile. They're like, oh, you did good. My bio, my pictures. And so what I found very interesting is that every single person, it was only men because that's what I said I was attracted to. Every single one of them said that they didn't want a liar, that they valued honesty.
And all of them are liars. Like, what do you mean?
100%. All liars. Not going to say that. But I'm saying if I look at the percentage of men that I've met, people that I have met that have not necessarily been the most honest, that cannot be accurate. It can't be true. This is what they're looking for. And someone made a comment. They was like, well, they probably do want an honest partner, but that doesn't
Well,
mean
I'm
they're
about to say, yeah, I'm about to say they do value honesty. They want you to be honest with them, but they're
but
not
that
gonna be
doesn't mean
honest with
they're
you.
honest back. I
But it's
said,
like
oh,
such, it's like
I didn't
reverse
think about that.
projecting. Like it's
Yes,
such reverse projecting. It's like,
they
okay.
want you to be honest with them. All right.
But yeah, having boundaries, there's a difference between talking bad and speaking
Someone
facts.
says there's a difference between talking bad and speaking facts. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can even tell in the way a person approaches that conversation if they're just speaking factually or if there's just a bitter negative
If there's
under.
some bitter there, yeah, yeah. And that also, like, you can see that in profiles too when they're like, don't be this, is like the language is just so there. But also, if they, the better way to do it is like to speak about it on the opposite hand, like, you know, like there's another way to say
What do
it,
you
like
say?
instead of being like,
What do you mean?
oh, I don't like someone that's immature, or like, you know, if they're saying all that, instead you could be like, you know, like, I value maturity, and someone that's like, if they,
Right.
instead of saying the negative traits, they're talking about the opposite positive traits sometimes. But I think, yeah, like mom said, where someone puts their energy says a lot about their vibration. But of course, again, disclaimer, like, high vibrational is still human, still human.
What? So people will make mistakes. Is that what
Yeah.
you're
People will
Yeah.
make mistakes. Yeah, like
Yeah,
high
still
vibrational,
make
like you still
mistakes.
Nobody's
make mistakes, you
perfect.
still go through things. Like it's just about how you deal with them, and like
How you deal with them.
how you deal with them. And no one's perfect, but high vibrational is literally like, and I, I got a hand cramp. Ooh. Um, yeah, it's
Yes.
just, yeah, like the actual
I think
science of
above
it.
all else, the importance here, we've gotten so focused on what this other person, how this other person has to show up, what this other person needs to be able to do for me. And I just think that there need to be more people just focusing on themselves.
Themselves. Yeah.
Folks come to me, they want a reading for this, and they're like, where's my man? Where's my woman? When am I gonna blah blah blah? When am I actually don't really answer those questions, get into it, because um if you do the things, if you focus on just self, like really the growth and the building, the clearing, the whatever, along that path, you're going to come along the person or persons. You may have, more than one option that's going to be a good fit for you. Don't do it prematurely without, taking the time to work through your stuff, because then you're going to meet somebody that's in the same position, and there may be your relationship, the energy and the focus and attention will be put on y'all both trying to work through some craziness. But get
That
to the
part, I
place
just,
you want your partner to show up or work
that
toward.
just, um, that just made me think about it. I know someone that's going through like a breakup right now, and they were like, yeah, I want to make sure I work on myself, because if I don't, I'm just going to attract the same exact type of person. Like,
Same.
I need to figure out
Exactly.
how I got here in the first place, and like
Be
Same.
the
figure out
person
what,
you want.
like, changing
Mila
a
just
partner
said
is
that.
not going to change a partner, like, for real. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no, no, no.
you're just
Two
going to get
things I
same
learned.
different face.
Two things I learned was, if this is the type of partner that I know is the best fit for me, then I need to only say yes to those types of people that show up. I need to say a strong no to anything that is different. That, and then not like, okay, well, let's see if you can grow into this. Reason being, if I'm thinking about marrying somebody, the person that they are and the moment that we meet, I have to say to myself, if they never changed,
Mm,
I could be with this person forever, just as they are.
yep.
Not with
That
the
forever word be scaring me, child.
right. Right. But if I can't say that, then I'm
Uh-huh.
going in with, and they can feel that. Like, I don't totally approve of who you are. I think there's some things that you need to change. I'm not really totally satisfied with who you are. And that can create some tension, between the two. But if I'm looking for someone who needs to fix themselves, or I'm gonna be the fixer, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And that's the thing, high vibrational girlies and men. If you're a fixer, you can easily try to go the opposite direction and be stuck in the mudlands trying to fix people.
And that, I think, is when you're really working that path, getting to a purely high vibrational space, you will learn, like Jamila was saying, those boundaries are real. Don't compromise. You don't compromise. Let your yeses be a strong yes and your no's be a strong no. No.
Yep. No.
No.
Yeah. It's literally like,
Yes.
I was just thinking about how, I guess, like, the growth relationship wise and what is attracting, what acceptable, like looking back at my exes from like 10 years ago, I'm literally like, there's no way in hell that I would even look at them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they came up to me and asked me for
Yeah,
my
honey.
number,
You done
I
had
would
some
literally
ones.
what?
You done had some ones, honey.
I know, but I mean, I can say that now and like literally be like, okay,
Right.
that's how I know
But
that
you
I've
were
made some
young. I mean,
progress.
yeah, come on, like
But there's people, that the friends that I had are still dating in those circles still. So it's just showing like that. I'm just no, I'm just
Maybe
saying, this is
just
just
friends.
about me. This is just about me. I'm just saying that I notice, like, if I'm ever like, okay, like, am I really doing the work? Is the work working? That's proof that it is, because it's like,
Absolutely.
girl,
You'll
you
start
have like, you're
to
not,
reflect in the people
yeah,
shop.
you know,
Mm.
exactly. And it's no tea, no shade. It's just different values.
women usually reject the man who is completely honest with them. Honesty is not rewarded. There's no safe space. That's why most men lie to women.
Um, truth in that, and I have talked to men who say, like, well, if I say these things, then they'll say they want the honesty, and then when you give it to them, they're extremely upset, and there's a
Yeah.
blow.
Well, but what we being honest, like, what we being honest about that's making me upset?
So here's the thing. When I say integrity, I want the person to show up as their true self, right?
Right.
So say, like, and this is, then you need to have these experiences before you get in a relationship with someone. You need to see who they are, learn enough about them before you get into the relationship with them. Because then if them showing
Oh,
their true self, if that makes any sense for you,
I
right?
get what they're saying. I get
So
what they're saying.
no,
Okay.
no, yeah, the women don't want that. It's not a safe space for them to be honest.
Yeah.
But there are women who are, though. There are
Just
women
not
who
a
are.
lot, but yeah.
There are, and this, I mean, I'm not to toot my own horn, but I am that way. I'm like, just be
Are you
real with
honest
you.
before
I
everything?
can respect a person who is honest, even if I don't like what I'm
Like
hearing.
the answer,
I will
yeah,
respect you. If I
definitely.
find out later that you lied, the respect goes out the
It's
window.
blind.
Goes out, and that's the same for me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But I do
yeah.
feel like I know, like, in today's society, like, the way that, like, think about how men really are, and think about if they approached regular women and be like, hey, this is actually how I think and how I feel and what I think about women and how I want to operate, they would be with no one. Like, it would, wouldn't work out for them, for real.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
There's some people.
Let's talk about two things, because
Okay.
was just making a point that I did want to touch on, and that is, are you being honest before the issue? So I saw something the other day that was like the difference between honesty and transparency. Honesty is someone asking you and you telling them the truth. Transparency is you telling them before they have to ask.
Hello.
So that's the difference. Are you being an open and honest person, transparent from the jump, where they're not, getting mixed signals or needing clarification or whatever? Are you forthcoming with who you are? That sets the stage.
But you know what?
For the
When you
relationship.
are forthcoming with who you are, like for those men that feel like that the majority of women would reject them, the more honest and like the more honest you are operating in your truth, the more that's what you'll be surrounded by. Like people that actually are polygamous and people that actually are openly that, they find themselves in those circles because they're
With
not
people
trying to
who
hide
vibe
it.
with that. With
That you
people who
find people that vibe with that. Don't try to get someone
vibe
that
with
wants to be a trad wife and then tell them
I'm
that you want to.
I'm friends with the guy, and this was, some time ago. And he is definitely a polygamous type of, he has the open relationship type. Well, not open relationship. He's more of a person that likes to have multiple partners. And so I said to him, I think you just need to start being honest about that with people. Because number one, you want to respect them and give them an opportunity to choose for themselves what they want.
If they want it, yeah.
Surprised how many women would be like, yeah, that's what's up. And we ended up, conversing a little bit about it later. And he admitted, like, yeah, once I started doing that, he didn't have any shortage of women who would say, sure. Now, a lot of them were saying, yeah, I'm down. And they really weren't down, but that's the situation, things came up and they really couldn't handle it. But at least he was being transparent.
Right.
That is what I call a man of integrity or a person of integrity. Tell me who you are, up front.
Yep.
And then, I can respect that. I'd rather be someone that someone respects, whether we,
We're on the
continue
same page.
together or not. That I want to, make sure that I'm respected and respect someone else. That I value that.
Yeah. So go ahead, Kaya.
No, I was just gonna move on to the next question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, so I guess it's asking, can high vibration and high value differ from person to person? I mean, I feel like that's kind of a
We kind of answered.
Yeah,
that.
we did that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so. Do we? Okay, go
Is
ahead,
there
Mike.
anything else we want to say about that? How they differ? I guess it's based on, because listen, if you from the streets, which you might consider like what if the couple is like a hood couple, their idea of some congruency may be different.
For example, like mom, you like someone that's like a protector, like someone that's like strong and able to like,
Someone
that's not.
someone who's tougher than me. Yes.
And you're tough, so that's a
Yeah,
lot. Like
right.
that's a lot. Like someone that's like the diaper wimpy kid, he would literally be like, "Babe," like,
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't be the one that I know I can get us all out of a tough situation. Like, no, if I got to carry it all, I'm not attracted. So yeah.
But that just shows like, yeah, differences. Kaya, I don't think you answered when I was like, how do you think your values shape what you see as high vibrational?
No, yeah, I didn't. How do I think they shape? I don't know.
Myth women
Kaya's
are.
kind of figuring out some things.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
journaling on what what that means for you, your values, and
right. Like,
yeah.
There's a values test that I can put in the comments of this video once it's done, and I feel like everyone should definitely take it and like just apply it to your own.
oh, the one that you sent for mom, and
Yes, yeah.
so I did. I told you I did do that. I just forget the I don't know what happened to
What the
my.
values were.
I probably like closed out the thing and
Yeah, definitely
I
retake it.
forgot what I got on that.
I definitely feel like
well,
a lot
I mean,
like one. Go ahead.
I mean, I think this is never mind. It probably just doesn't make sense. So Well,
It's just us here.
I'm just saying. Well, I know. Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't really know what I'm saying by saying this, but I know that I don't tolerate disrespect. So what does that say about a value? Like what value is that? Respect. I hold respect at high value, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
absolutely no disrespect tolerated. So that's the one thing that I can off the top of my head say that I'm
And
not
so,
going to
how do you define respect or disrespect? Like, do you have any examples of? Because mine gets is detailed as there's.
So do you like, yeah.
What do you think, Kai?
And then do you see it like just to you, or do you watch how they would treat other people like that? Is that all tied together?
Yeah, it would definitely be in yeah, because I feel like even when I see other people disrespecting other people, like I want to go to
You
their
have a problem with that? Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, I don't
Because
really
I
have
think when you see people being disrespectful, it kind of means they could be mean-hearted, and that's not cute.
they
You know,
mean.
the way that
Yeah.
that could show up in a relationship in the future. Oh no, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Having some just respect and decency is important.
that is on a basic level.
Um,
Basic level.
Mine definitely would be like my values on that thing, like peace was high, freedom was high, and
Yeah.
then love. And I think that really does like reflect, because as far as freedom, I want someone that's not like really conservative, and someone that's not very judgmental, and someone that's not very like, like someone that's extremely fluid. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
the other one would be peaceful. And I typically do think that someone that's high value to me is someone
It's
that doesn't have a lot going on. Like I have a lot going on. I prefer my men to just be like, not have a lot going on, and just like have like a good home base and take care of their home and be like, home, like
A
homemakers.
homebody? You
Yeah,
want the
homebodies.
you want him to be the homebody?
You watch the kids and the cat. I'm gonna take these flights. Like that's
I'm dead. No, y'all supposed to take the flights, the kid and the cats on the flights. Everybody go.
right.
sure, that's fine too. But just to say, like someone that really does take pride in like their surroundings and keeping them up, and like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
high vibration to
I
me.
was gonna say to your point about the peace part, that is really important. So if you have someone who values having peace in the home, values inner peace, first of all. So the way that they handle conflicts, the way that they handle, just things that are unexpected, they're going to behave in a way that protects their peace and the peace in the environment. And they're going to look at ways to problem solve that doesn't diminish that piece as well. That is extremely important to me in a high vibrational situation. Like listen, I choose my peace and my joy every day when I put my feet on the floor. And so I'm expecting that, you know, in my relationships.
I just had a
I
thought,
agree.
guys. This
Yes.
is just a motivational thought. If you if you're listening or you're watching and you're like, dang, like the vibrate, like the person that you have in your head is high vibrational, you may think they don't exist and you feel like you have a lot of work to do or whatever. Just that's how vibrations work. So like it's not going to be in like your immediate surrounding, just like when you switch in it high or low, like once you do the
Mm,
work and you start vibrating at the level, then you'll start to see them. You know what I'm saying? So like
that is
don't
true.
think that it's unattainable or they don't
That's
exist
a
and
good
they're not
nugget.
out there,
That's a good nugget.
because they are.
And they are
um they are. And then when you're
this.
at that high vibration, I don't want to say like high and low, like good or bad, but it's literally just science. High vibrations are faster, low is slower, like that's science. But you won't really see the lower ones either, because I don't be seeing nothing like what I used to date around me anymore. And I'm in the same place I was before. So
Mm.
yeah, it's just, and that works on across the board outside of
Across the board,
relationships too. That's how,
friendship,
yeah.
that's everything. Everything. You can
So
be you can be in environments where there is a degree of dysfunction and toxic, um, and still it you never really interact with that, or you never come across it because you're just in a different wave, in a different space. So Yeah. You just continue to work on yourself at the end of the day. Like, I'm not gonna be looking, I'm just, minding my drink water and minding my business.
Yeah, drink your water and mind your business.
And
And they're full this time. um, are y'all familiar? Are any of our viewers familiar with Shira Stevens? Did y'all want to get into Shira now, or did you want to do any questions?
I don't even know who this share person is. I think Adia had
So
mentioned her, but I'm not familiar. So what's up with her?
I'm curious to see, like, so Shira's like, she was on YouTube for years, and now she's like, people are posting clips of her on TikTok, and now she's like decided to go over to TikTok. But she's this woman and she's a financial advisor, so she takes the back to what we are talking about, high value. She looks at it as from like a for women that simply want to be like the trad wives that are taken care of, like
You said
that
Shira
type of
Steven?
Stevens, Sevens. You could just type sprinkle sprinkle lady. But what she does is she comes from like an empowering point, because she's like, okay, like she teaches women like how to become high value yourself, so that you can like kind of attract these types of situations. And of course, like she says, financial advice, not love. Like it's financial, but like I said, when people are talking about high value or whatever, that's what they're talking about. So it just gives like, she gives like pointers, but it is a little, the problem is that it is very value driven for me.
Is it superficial?
It's extremely superficial, but she says that. She's like, this is financial advice, not love advice. But it is superficial in the way that, like, of course, you can find love and that type of life in the same spaces. But I do feel like there needs to be more conversation. Dang.
Oh, you know what? I haven't been even highlighting the comments. This is a good one though. It says, and I think he was talking about we were talking about some high vibrational stuff. He says that's not exciting enough for most. They call you boring until they've been ran through and then they want you.
Jeez.
That's what I said, dang.
No lies detected there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And but the thing about it is, ladies, we've got to calm our nervous systems, because even like the boring is safe. Like boring is safe. Once you're used to having a regulated nervous system, you won't feel uncomfortable with the boring or
Right.
with the
And
respectful and the
that's
peace.
maturity. That's just maturity as well. So then we think about, so if we're seeing the same types of issues with men and women in their partner seeking, their dating, habits, we need to start having these conversations quite early, with parents talking to, or elders talking to, and there's only so much you could do, but I don't think there's enough of that conscious conversation around, like you said, my regulating your nervous system, around matching what is it you really say you want with what type of behaviors are you exhibiting. And then I think honestly it's an immaturity piece too, because or there's a learning the maturity piece may be lacking or lagging behind, because that's just, most young people don't realize that they're going to get older. Like the things they're doing in the moment are going to affect what choices and options that they have in the future.
Very true.
Not,
Very true.
we're not young forever. um and so also one thing I noted though in this conversation, where men are often picking up on how women place themselves in a situation that leaves them single later. I'm seeing the same thing with men. They usually date the women that are wilder, that they want to control, that they want to tame. They don't date the boring woman.
Mm.
And
They
if
date the
they do, they cheat on her with the wild ones.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
And then they later on find themselves wanting something that they weren't attracted to for years.
Yeah.
So I think that it does go both ways. A lot of those men who consider themselves, or people who consider themselves high value and are single, are often making poor dating choices.
But then
So
it's also, if you're only dating someone that's going after you for those high value things like your money, how well do you think, like, what do you think that's going to get you?
Yeah.
Um,
Your money, your status, or the things that check off
the
on
things
paper.
that check out. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I miss, honestly, back in the day, like we just like men and women and people just like loved each other. Like we liked each other.
But you got to think about it. You guys also had more organic ways to meet each other to
We
where
did.
it wasn't
Yeah.
like on paper. Like
I
you could
really
just,
feel for you guys because we didn't, or just the generations coming up.
for
We didn't
example,
know each other.
think about the club. Back in the day, you could just go on the dance floor. You had no idea this man's status, this man's money, this man's blah, 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 right? Nowadays, you go into a club, sections are where the money is, and then you see the boys on the floor at the bar. You know, like there's like, it's so like, our society today is very value money driven, which is probably why that definition has become more important for us.
Yeah.
And just like the values, not
And
me,
white people
but
be faking it too. But yeah, Jamila's saying so high value isn't money. Yeah, we were talking about that at the onset, just
yeah.
breaking down the characteristics of high value or what the word is on the street, but then how we see high value, high vibrational, and so on and so forth. And if you want something lasting, and I can't front if I mean I don't judge anyone for what their expectations are. You know, you will learn from your experiences if that works or if it doesn't work. But if you want something long lasting,
You
All
gotta play
right,
broke
Brittany.
nowadays. You
but
got
if you
to.
want something long lasting, you better be checking that vibration. And check your vibration first.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
And that'll tell you about what you're attracting. Literally, you don't even, if you're literally meeting people, if you know yourself well enough, you should know exactly the type of people that you're meeting. And it's kind
right.
of that simple.
And
Like,
be careful, those who are growing themselves vibrationally, be careful of, becoming and being a fixer. The type that wants to, you know, wants to have a project instead of a partner.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, money doesn't make you high value to me character. Exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
Exactly. Same.
yes.
Same. Because
We
money
talk
can come and go. You can
Yep.
be a breadwinner or not. Like,
because what happens if something anything could happen to someone
mhm.
who's a high earner and then they're not, you
But
know?
some people are really materialistic and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's
Mhm.
why money does matter. But personally, no.
Yeah, yeah. Serial fixer, same. Yeah, you got to know
We was out there like Bob the Builder.
what your addictions are,
Mm-mm.
and do away with that. Do away with that on both sides because I see a lot of men that are like that too, or just in general, they want to be the person
But do you
that's
feel like fixing was a reflection of not really having the best self worth, even if you were more high vibrational? I agree. Yeah.
yeah,
In
very much.
relationships, if you have a need to fix, then like get a career where you can do that. No need to do that in
And
friendship.
some people are prone to problem solving, but
Mm,
I've learned this, that it's not my job to do that in my partnership. That's
mhm.
not a high vibrational man takes care of he wants to grow through his own issues, not have his woman step in and fix that for you, quote unquote, from a high vibrational man. So,
Ooh. How do you guys think mommy and daddy issues could possibly interfere with being high vibrational or not?
Girl, yes.
uh, well,
100%.
Huh?
I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, 100%. We don't even need to say nothing else.
Oh gosh.
That goes without saying. I mean, a lot of that shapes who we are.
But
And
you
then
It's
can work through that
unfortunate
though. You can
though.
work through
Right.
that.
It's because sometimes, I mean, of course, it's not that person's fault, but it's
no,
just like,
yeah, but habits and things you pick up in environment. But I also don't like to be totally pessimistic because a lot of those things can make a very powerful person once they've worked through, or understand the context in which, how that may impact their life. And because of those adversities, they have been able to shape things in a certain way that are quite dynamic. So that doesn't, if there are, if someone is talking about having these, childhoods that were challenging, that's not off top a red flag because how many of us haven't had, some
Right.
challenge?
I was thinking more from the point of view like, okay, let's say it affects the type of person that you're looking for and the qualities that you look for in this person.
Nisha said that's why I messed up, y'all. Well, a healed soul can be the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. A healed soul, man.
Ooh,
Just
can't fix what
Fix
wants
what
to be
wants to
broken.
be
Ooh,
broken. That's a word. Put that on the screen. Put that on the screen. Because you can't. Hello.
yep.
on stage.
We talked about that with people who just want
They
you to
just,
be an audience to their pain.
yep.
And they just dump a lot, dump a lot, dump a lot, throw tantrums, yell and screaming. They just want an audience. They don't really want to be well.
Some
And
people are comfortable with being the victim, but that's also just science. Like your brain is used to that. Like,
yes, absolutely. And they're addicted to drama. They
mhm.
don't even feel love if there's not any intensity or any drama. If you're real cool, laid back, peace, joy, and they're like, this
Mhm.
doesn't feel real to me unless she yells and smacks the shit out of me. And then I'll feel like, oh,
Oh, oh.
this is great. And then literally can see
well,
them be
domestic
soothed,
violence is not funny.
soothed.
No, 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 no.
It's funny. I'm just saying, no, I'm
Oh, I
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
saying that as I
I was
that,
saying
wasn't.
me and Kaya. I was just saying our laugh was not about that. We were laughing at
oh,
Oh,
something
no,
else.
no, no,
Yeah.
no.
yeah, no.
But it will immediately, you can see this soothing. And I was really joking when I was exaggerating with the smack part, but
Yeah.
they want to get that rise. They want some fire out of you. And then when you respond with that, finally, like you're poking the bear, like if you would please chill out. And then the response is, you can see them exhale and breathe. Like that's what I needed, because they're used to that in their environment. Like if there isn't a lot of drama, they can't feel, and they just want to feel it. That means something for them to just feel. It can be pain, it can be whatever. Just need the attention.
And that's where that regulated nervous system comes into play.
And we have to realize if we're like that, you
Hmm.
know, things are going too smoothly for too long. Do we need to kick up some dust in order to feel like the
I said
person?
that before in a
Yes.
relationship. I told Journey, I was like, I was young. I was in like high school. I said, it's been a while since we've had like something go on. Like, I'm going to start an argument.
No, yeah, yeah. My yeah, you're the toxic one.
Oh.
Where do you see those videos where like when you realize you're the problem? Like, oh my
No,
God.
like literally, I've been the problem the whole entire time until recently. So,
We love accountability.
And then
yeah,
that's
literally.
crazy if you're used to dating partners who may be more problematic and toxic, and
Mm.
then you get a relationship that's healthy, then it's really going to start to expose self-sabotage. Yep. It really start to expose your own stuff because you're used to operating at a certain level. So you think, and then when you have a healed person enter the chat, then you're like, oh, I still have some more work to do.
Yeah.
But self sabotage is truly a thing. It's like I can't. It's more comfortable for the person to find a way out, to believe that this is not healthy, or there's some type of scam going on, instead of staying in the space and growing and learning and loving in the space. It just gets too uncomfortable. Facts. It's at an all-time high. So yeah. Oh, we are 10 minutes. We are just about at time.
Yeah.
Um,
Time to wrap it up.
wrapping it up. I mean, of course, this is a much, we can only scratch the surface with this type of conversation. And we use the high value, high vibrational to just open up a larger topic about what are our expectations and who are we showing up as, and where do we put the focus at, really. And this also looking at society overall, and we need to save ourselves from ourselves at this point, because this high value focus is not producing, from what I'm seeing, it doesn't seem to be producing a lot of loving couples.
It's not. And
So,
then the
and
people that
go ahead.
I was gonna say it creates insecurities for people that aren't high value but are high vibrational. And I think that's just like It's so ass backwards because like
it creates insecurities for people who do think they're high value, because now you're just you're a product on the shelf. Like you're not
yeah, you don't even feel like a person. You feel like this hot commodity.
and moving into these empty, soulless,
Yeah.
transactional situations. And then, upset that you can't find the right one.
Yeah.
Like I say, divest from this whole high value propaganda and get back to just like, connecting with people, learning to
And
connect with.
that's so true because when you think about it, it's like even the things that men have against women that make a woman high value, because you would think low body count. That's probably the first thing they'll say. Like there's just certain things that they like to make women feel bad about. And it's like not really something that women like, on both sides of the spectrum, it's just like, what are we really focusing on here? That's gonna
What are we doing? And I will say this, I've noticed that a lot of high vibrational people, men specifically, and people will say, I don't care what she was doing before me. They don't have,
Mhm.
they're not intimidated, don't really care about it at all. Like at all. Like it just doesn't come up. They're
Yeah.
not, they're not worried about that. High vibrational does include the person who knows how to manage, has some status and knows how to manage their finances. So I don't just mean just a good person. My definition for high vibrational is the whole package.
She said, "Don't come over here patting your pocket."
Huh?
So she said, "Don't come over here patting your pockets."
Listen, you need to
But
be
you're
good.
grown. You're like super grown. Like it's so
Yeah.
valid.
At that, yeah. Come on now.
So, but no one's really, and that wasn't even the conversation back in the day, even when we were younger and less mature.
But y'all had freakniks. Like we know y'all didn't care about that.
Right, hello.
We know y'all did not care.
Everybody was on the same type of timing, baby.
The freaking Maya texted me. She was like, "Mom, is there anything you want to tell me?" And I was like, before she see me on the time, I was like, "I listen. I'm safe. I never went. I just never went. So I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't be on any tapes. And so just safe. But yeah. So you know, just take some time to really just look at what is truly important and what you really want to experience with the partner, and move out of the bitter space, really, because that's what it all looks like. It's some bitter people, men and women, with this high value conversation. um
And just led the wrong way because I feel for the people that really just are consuming on social media and haven't really had a chance to think for themselves, like this younger generation.
Good
They don't
point.
have a chance for think for
They don't know.
themselves.
Yeah, they're
They
thinking
don't
like
know.
this is the
And so
process.
I feel for them. I really feel for them.
Like, this is how you do it. This is how you find a partner.
You gotta touch grass, everybody. Go outside.
Go
Like,
outside. Open the door. Crack the window first. Let's start there.
absolutely. Well, thank y'all again for joining us. I wish I would have been highlighting more of these comments before. I forgot. I was chilling. But we appreciate you. Have another one.
Atia, no. Not sweating.
I'm dead.
I was a history major. Yes, it does matter.
It was great.
Thank
Well,
you.
Oh,
I'm glad y'all had a time,
y'all was
honey.
acting bad.
Glad y'all had a time.
I'm glad social media just wasn't a part of our experience coming up, because
I would have loved to see. How things are going down.
I don't know.
baby,
I would have loved to see. I know. I want to see. I
Have you
want
seen
to.
the Freaknik clips?
No, I actually haven't.
Yeah.
wild times, wild times. I wasn't there, so but I could just yeah, just imagine. Anyway,
So
wish you
glad.
there. None of us went. Well, that's not true. That's not true. We had our times. But yes, thank you again, everyone, for showing up and joining us in this topic that can often become very volatile. But I think we all showed up, in a mature way to just chop it up, get some understanding. So we appreciate it, and Tuesday after next we'll be back here in the cocoon for another live. Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you guys for
Thank
joining.
you. Love you all. See you
Yes,
soon.
thank you for joining.
Toodles.
Oh, wait.
Bye.
I'm about to end this